Welcome to District Life. I'm Larry Brown Jr.
And I'm Sharifa Gregory. On this episode, it's all about girl power.
Y'all have it going on. What's that song, Sharifa? I could bring home the bacon, da-da-da-da, fry it up in the pan, da-da-da-da.
And never let you forget who I am, 'cause I'm a woman. Yes.
W-O-M-A-N. Get it, Sharifa.
Yes. All right. On a more serious note, in this episode, we continue to explore why Black women are dying of breast cancer at a higher rate than any other race in the country.
DCTV is spreading awareness on a new campaign called #WhenWeTrial, which is focusing on the science of why Black women are dying at such alarming rates, especially in Ward 8.
Black women have done amazing things to better our community. So guess what, Black women? We need you to do an amazing thing right now. We need you to do amazing work right now around the science of Black breast cancer. So I've been an advocate since I was 6. And a lot of the work that I do is to really try to advance the science.
The other thing is we do have data to show this integrated medical group visit model in cancer patients specifically, just not in African American women.
We don't have any black data, so we're just guessing. So think about it. For every 100 white women who die of breast cancer, 141 Black women die. Ward 8 has the highest mortality rate. I don't know if there's something in the water over there, but Black women are dying and they're not getting the care that they need. But that's when Dr. Regina built her clinic. So Regina Hampton, she went and fought to get funding to build a mammography center. And now it's a full a health center over there.
So Ward 7 and 8 have some of the highest mortality rates for breast cancer in the DMV area. And so what we found is that women in that area didn't have any good resources for getting mammograms. And so we felt it important to put it in the community. In fact, there was a lady that we spoke to who had to catch 2 buses and a subway just to get a mammogram. Yeah. We tend to get breast cancer at younger ages. So our breast cancers occur under the age of 50 and more often under the age of 40, even before women are at the age when they would actually get what we call screening mammograms, which is recommended at age 40. Well, if you're 32 with no family history, you probably are not in that category of getting screened earlier.
Turn your feet toward the front as well.
Frankly, why the research is so important, because any chemo that you take as a Black woman is really a clinical trial in your body, because we don't have data to show how it works in Black bodies. So when you take it, you're testing it for you. You don't know if it's going to work or not, right? So thank God they worked for me, but not for everybody. But that's why I'm on this mission to get more Black women into clinical trials. We have been basically excluded. Our physiology, our Black physiology has been excluded from research. And if you look back at the drugs, so there are several main drugs for breast cancer overall, which are the ones I took at first that didn't work for me. If you look back in history, they were all made like 20, 30 years ago. And guess what? How many Black women were in the clinical trials? 0. There were none.
What's interesting about the breast cancer in Black women in Washington, D.C., it's not an economic thing. And so when you look at some of the well-to-do communities in our area and some of the poorest communities, the cancers look exactly the same, which we're thinking that there's some genetic component. And so trying to get to that is going to take us as Black women getting involved in things like clinical trials, getting involved in work, and helping to find the answers.
We don't want to die anymore. We don't want anyone to die. We need to advance the science. Black women deserve better science, better care, and better drugs. So do it for your daughter. Do it so you'll be here for your daughter or your granddaughter, or do it so they won't get it. I work for Belle, Leah, and Hart. I work for them every day. They are my purpose. And I got about 10 years before Belle gets boobs. She's 4.5. So I got 10 years to do this work.
Learn more information about the disease and available resources on the Facebook podcast, The Doctor Is In. That's every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Facebook. The podcast focuses on solutions aimed at eradicating breast cancer together.
From the moment President Biden said he would nominate a black woman to the Supreme Court, a group of black women and their daughters united to ensure that the campaign promise was kept.
My fellow Americans, today I'm honored to officially introduce to you the next Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, Ketanji Brown Jackson.
It is an honor, the honor of a lifetime, for me to have this chance to join the court.
My name is Kim Tignor, and I'm one of the co-founders of She Will Rise. She Will Rise is an initiative pushing for greater diversity and more black women on the federal judiciary, including the Supreme Court, which we now have. So we launched She Will Rise in the summer of 2020. I remember that I was ecstatic when I saw then candidate Biden make a promise to nominate the first black woman, and then candidate Bernie Sanders also made that commitment. But what I saw was that enthusiasm, the energy that I felt that a commitment like that should have generated was just kind of missed. This is in the wake of the murder of Breonna Taylor, the murder of George Floyd, and Ahmaud Arbery. And, you saw the resistance and the movement take to the streets with an energy that we just never seen before. But what I saw really missing from those demands and that push was it was a failure to integrate the federal judiciary into that strategy. So I literally reached out to 3 of my sister friends who all have amazing talents and asked them to help me launch this amazing initiative.
We have to understand the civil rights movement is built on 5-4 decisions on the Supreme Court, right? And there have been times in history where justices have had their minds changed because of these conversations that are happening. It's that deliberation.
For 233 years, black women have been waiting for one of us to be on that court.
My daughter, Sophia, she's 10 years old, and on the first day of the confirmation hearings for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, she participated in a rally.
For the past 2 years, my mother, Kimberly Tignor, along with 3 co-founders, Sabria Williams, April Rain, and Brandy Colander, have been leading an organization called She Will Rise that has been working to get black women nominated to the Supreme Court.
She has this amazing grasp and understanding of we are going to be the ones to save us. And it is important that we show up and we step into the place and stand up for our rights and for things that we believe in.
Whose court? Whose court?
And so here we have this entire generation, it's like 100 little girls from the age of 2 to 17. And here they are ready to say, we're ready for the first black woman on the Supreme Court. And those are judicial advocates. Those are future judges. Those are just so many magical seeds that were placed that day just by helping our girls see a future for themselves.
So we're going to make some noise for the women who had to have uncomfortable conversations and kick in some doors so we can celebrate today. So when I say send love and light up in this air for the founders of She Will Rise, I mean that. Let's go.
This is what it looks like when you reach out to a sister and you say, we want to start something, will you ride with us? And they have said yes the entire time.
I think now and forever they will see themselves reflected in that court.
We've watched so many historic moments in the last few years. A black president, a black vice president.
It is a historic time. Just like we saw those little girls in that story, we have to continue to teach little girls that they matter. A local public charter school, Girls Global Academy, does just that. The slogan is, because you matter.
So part of our mission here at Girls Global Academy is because I matter and because you matter. And that is a huge thing here at GGA, is being able to positively affirm all of our students and letting them know that they're enough, they're worthy, and that they are beautiful inside and out.
My experience with GGA has been unique, to say the least. It's been pretty rocky, especially with COVID and going online, but I will say that we've been able to overcome, especially going back in person this year.
I think the sisterhood and actually having like a more comfortable environment to talk in, because like I feel like in an all-girls school you can really talk about anything because everybody's the same. It's like all girls. Everybody here has like a place and has like friendships and stuff. Everybody like feels, I guess, needed or wanted.
I've connected with some people at my school pretty quickly, 3 months, so I'm very glad for that. I've been able to connect very well.
I got really excited when I found out how small the school would be. I had also attended a high school that was a startup, so just being alongside students who would be the first graduating class felt very familiar. And it was also just one of those experiences where I could get them excited about starting a legacy and building traditions.
We need this school. Our students need to be part of a holistic education where not only their academic needs are being met, but their social and emotional needs are being met as well. And we just want to continue to support this kind of process moving forward, because students are not just one piece. They come with a multitude of things going on. We want to make sure that we support them in all aspects.
Our girls are able to see people that look like them in different spaces, whether that is in the gym, whether that is as a co-founder, whether it's a principal, whether it's a math teacher. They're able to see people that look like them and people that don't, being able to thrive in an environment that they feel safe and that they're able to learn with the best of the best teachers here in the District of Columbia.
The emphasis on sisterhood, with it being an all-girls school and whatnot, I do think that there is a more like deeper tie between having close relationships with your sisters.
We love our girls here, and I think they know that. So the question is, who are these girls going to be? And that's just a question I think a lot of us are very excited about.
The local all-girls public charter high school was founded in 2020 to empower young girls with the tools they need to succeed in an ever-expanding world.
And those leaders are going to need nourishment. Here's a food blogger who nourishes her passion of food with photography.
She's also an example of taking a bad situation like COVID, pivoting, and turning it into a yummy success.
If you're dreaming of the next stamp on your passport, consider giving Flights and Foods a follow. This husband and wife duo, led by photographer Takira, shares their love of travel and food with over 7,000 fellow foodies.
We really pick where we're going to travel by
the food.
like food.
By the food.
Yeah, by the food, and if there are kind of interesting sites that we want to see.
I mean, you talked about how sometimes you'll interview the chefs or the people at the restaurants that you go to. What kind of conversations? I guess also when you travel, you kind of get to learn a lot about the culture and the country that you're in. What kind of doors does food and conversations like that open?
For me, I always say food is pretty much like the foundation of culture. We start talking to people that work in the hotels, people that work at the airport, the person driving us from the airport to the hotel, and we're like, where do you eat? Like, don't tell us a touristy place. Like, just tell us where you eat. If your family wants to go out to dinner, where do you go? And, some place like Jamaica, they were like, oh, KFC. And we're like, KFC? Are you serious? But honestly, it does taste different when you go to different countries. We tried KFC in Thailand. It was completely different than America. It was better. First of all, it was better. It tasted fresher. The flavors were more nuanced. It was better. But talking about food is really kind of a gateway into getting to know people as we travel. So, yeah.
And tell me about, I know today I can smell this sandwich. Like, it smells so good. Where did you get this sandwich from? Why did you pick it? What's the story about that
Okay,
post?
so I got the sandwich from Carl Subs. It's it's on Rhode Island Avenue in DC. I've eaten there plenty of times, but I've never featured it on my Instagram because I just have to devour it like once I get it. So
That's me every time I eat.
I'm usually so hungry. I don't usually have time to take pictures, but today I was intentional about getting these pictures because I do want to feature them on my page. They've been around for years.
And it goes without saying that DC changes every day. Like I guess it's harder to find locally owned businesses.
Right.
It gets harder and harder every day. How do foodies and food blogs and pages like yours make sure that people are supporting locally owned businesses?
For me, I have a website, flightsandfoods.com, so I try to provide as many resources on there as I can, especially since the start of the pandemic. Like how I started shooting at home was because of the pandemic. I wanted to grow my photography skills, but then I also saw it as an opportunity to promote local businesses. So we would order takeout often, and then sometimes I would replate it, sometimes I wouldn't, but I would still take the photos and post it on my Instagram to encourage people to support the businesses.
And you also kind of have talked about how your photography has gotten better, how you've started shooting with the camera instead of your iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
But what I love about it is that you don't delete your old pictures.
No.
Even after you've gotten maybe like way better, you don't delete the old ones. Why not?
No. Oh my gosh. Okay. So they are not good. I don't care if anybody tells me because I already know they are not good. But I decided to leave them because to me it shows my growth, and anybody who sees my page, they're like, okay, she's grown here, and like, wow, look at these pictures now. So, and it was for myself. I didn't want to delete them and lose kind of that trail, that history of how far I've come, so I've just left them on my page.
Thanks, Rebecca, for that delicious story. Takira pivoted to turn her down into an up and also put a special emphasis on supporting BIPOC owners. Her website includes a full list of Black-owned businesses in DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Now for this segment of Black Girl Magic. Larry, are you ready? Are you ready?
Come on, I'm ready.
Okay, today we meet Jasmine, who also took a bad situation and pivoted to redefine her legacy. Here's how she's helping other formerly incarcerated women by drawing upon her own success.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Young. I would like to be called Jazz. I'm 34 with 2 kids. I went to Sherwood High School and graduated in 2005, and I'm a returning citizen. Black is beautiful. Black is strong. Black is resilient. Black is magnificent. Black is me. Black is every other person in this world that has gone through struggles in the past and overcome them, even the ones that are still trying to overcome. In my immediate family, I have a little sister, and of course I have my mom. I didn't grow up with my father. Actually, my father had a drug addiction, so I never really met my father. He called me when I was 15, and he was in jail at the time, and he promised he'd come see me, when he got out, but I never seen him. The next time I seen my father was in 2003, and that's when he was deceased. I saw him at his funeral. So it's just me, my mom, and my sister, and of course at 16 I had my son, so it was all of us inside the household. I got pregnant at 15 and had my son at 16, and like I said, I was in a predominantly white school, so that's not normal where I was at. I was the only girl, and I was Black on top of that. So I honestly felt like I was a statistic at the time, Black and pregnant, but I didn't let that deter me. I was determined to finish high school, so I stayed in high school until they put me on bed rest, and I did homeschooling until I was able to come back to school. But I got a lot of backlash. People wrote on the bathroom walls about me. They, just said all types of nasty things. People even I thought with my friends would say stuff behind my back. And, that just really put like a burden on me, because I felt like since that point on I had something to prove. Since I was little, I hated my skin. I used to try to scrub my skin with a Brillo pad because I just thought it was dirt. I never understood that it was my skin color, and this is the way I was born. I've kind of struggled with being a dark-skinned person inside, with our community, because I feel like there's racism within our own Black community. So when you say black skin, I always feel like I'm being targeted or talked about when I hear black skin, because it's always this dark skin, light skin war going on. So now at 34, I'm so proud to have black skin, and I've never been prouder in my life to have black skin. But before then, I've been, I had low self-esteem because of it. I guess the colorism. I was incarcerated for 4.5 years, and coming back into society and, having to relearn everything and rebuild my life, I feel like my sentence is a permanent sentence. And the reason that I say that is I'm always going to have barriers on top of me, not just the label of being a felon, but everything else that comes with it. And I think it makes it especially harder because I am a Black woman returning back to society. So it's like another statistic that's placed on me. Had a baby when I was 16. Oh, I went to prison. So I feel like people expect that of me. And I feel like I'm still trying to prove like I was when I was 16 to get over this. So I'm pushing hard to show people that coming home, no, it's not easy. But we need to lean on each other once that have come home and overcome that, because I'm overcoming that. I'm opening businesses, I'm trying to do nonprofits, and I'm trying to stay positive at the same time and bring light into the situation of incarceration. Prison is what set me down to really understand, I need to help people, but help people how? And that's where I came up with my business, that I want to help people with society and incarceration, get the knowledge and get the tools in order to transition back into society and, have confidence. A lot of people coming home don't have the confidence. My story is you can overcome anything. I mean, look at me. I had a child at 16. I've been to prison. I was in a 4.5 years domestic abuse relationship. I mean, I could have died. And I'm still here. I'm still standing. So just think of somebody in a worse situation than you. You have to look at it that way. People are going through way worse stuff than you. So I just feel like my story is I'm here to motivate people that they can overcome anything.
Women who know their worth and power can do anything. I really respect the fact that Jasmine wanted her legacy to be honorable, and she made it happen.
All right, so tell me, if someone's going to write a movie about your life or a book about your life, what would you call it?
Let's put the question to the folks on U Street. DCTV's Carmen Stanley has this edition of Where in the District.
Well, it's another segment of Where in the District. I am out here on U Street talking to the great people of DC, fantastic Washingtonians, and asking them if their life would be made into a film or a book, what would it be called? So let's see what the people got for us today. Let's see what they got. I'll be right back.
If there was a film made about my life, it would be called Why Am I So Lazy?
Tumbleweed.
Why would it be called Tumbleweed?
Because it's a mess and we don't know where we're going.
If I was to put my name into a book, I would call it The Miraculous Recovery of Michael Samuels through the power of prayer in the name of the Lord and Savior Christ Jesus.
It would be called India. Because when I was 18, I flew back from India by myself, and that was the start of when I loved traveling.
A worldwide tour.
Why?
Because I've lived in 7 countries and traveled in 34 and found BC home. I could tell you a lot about the world.
Jordan's Journey to Greatness. Because I think that I'm destined for greatness, so you guys can ride along for the journey, I guess.
The name of my film would be Rachel's World. I'd say mainly because, I don't know, I'm trying to figure my way through the world right now, and it just, yeah.
So, they asked me if I was gonna write a book, what would I call it? Life.
The Pathway to Serenity.
serenity means peace and joy, and I feel like that's where I want to be towards the end of my life.
The name of my film will be Life in the End Zone.
Why?
Because, you know, I play football and, you know, I'm trying to make it to college through football, so yeah.
Right, if your life remained to a film, what would it be called and why?
I guess it would be called On the Go. Yeah. Because I'm on the go, I'm a realtor, you know, kids, lots going on. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The Crazy Adventurous Life of Kalisha.
I love it.
If my life was made to a film, the title would be The Sounds to My Next Excursions.
Jeez. Yeah, it's like, oh, Text Me Back. That would be the name of it. Text Me Back. You said why? Because like life doesn't respond on time. Whatever I want, it never comes when I want it, but only when I need it.
I have been out here asking people the same questions and getting very interesting answers. I like the tumbleweed. I also love the India. I also love the world tour because traveling is like dope culture, you know. But if it were up to me and I had to choose my own, I think my life would be, oops, she did it again. Because constantly I'm doing things and someone's like, did you do that? And I'm like, yes, that was me. And I did it again.
All right, now you've had some time now. These people have given us their titles. What would the title of your movie or book be?
I got it. It would be The Journey of the Butterfly. From a caterpillar to a cocoon to a beautiful butterfly.